This is SCP Radio Network coming to you live from Skylab Studios. Up next is Latinas Rising.
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
Good evening. Welcome to Latinas Rising, Thursday weekly radio show. We actually missed everyone on last week, but our company was in San Antonio for fanfare, so we took a little break on last week. And so we had to truly come with a really, really great show today. And we have some amazing women that will join us this evening and share their stories, their background, and they're going to give some information. They're going to be vulnerable tonight and give us why women of color are in politics and the importance of.
Absolutely.
Why one of the things is we've talked a lot is about what representation matters. Right? And so again, my name is Tasha James. I'm a licensed therapist or a licensed professional counselor, and my co-host Edna.
Hello.
I missed you.
What girl? I always miss you. I'm always stalking you on the phone. What you doing? What you got?
I know, texting each other. And so we hope that everyone has their cafecito, their wine, or their water. And you are in for a treat for a great show. Unfortunately, it's only an hour, right? But I've actually met Dr. Cantu. Last week or this week.
Yes. Actually a few days ago.
Quickly.
Yeah. It was really, really interesting, especially for anyone that's interested in lobbying for something that they're interested in, anything that you wanted to change law-wise. That was a really great meeting. I learned a lot, met some awesome women that are movers and shakers and steady breaking that glass ceiling. We'll also have a phenomenal woman here as well, Miss Sema Hernandez. Mm-hmm. And so we will allow them to go ahead and introduce themselves here shortly. And so, Edna, anything you want to throw in there?
Yes. Good evening. I'm Edna Mojica Taylor. I am super excited for tonight. I want to let you know what Latina Rising is all about, at least a little bit, and why we're here tonight.
Absolutely.
So we are a group of women that have a lot to say. Yes. And through our lifetime, we develop stories, and stories just start stacking up, and we want to move on to the next because life just hits us quickly. So we are composed of women that are passionate and motivated and have something to say. So we say it in different ways. We say it today as in a live show. We talk about issues that that are relatable, not only to Latina women, but to women in general, and sometimes men. Hi, Jay. And we have a book called Latina Rising's Memoirs. So we're like 16 of us that talk about a situation that happened to us in our lifetime. But it's not only telling the story, but it's an empowering part of it too, because we want to share our story, but to empower and to motivate others through our stories. So tonight I am super excited. We got things to talk about, and I am a lot. But tonight I want to share that I am an advocate for people and women and children that go through domestic violence, any violence against women and children, sexual assault and things like that, because some do not have a voice. And I think I can be that voice by telling my story and just motivating others and empowering others and educating others about what's happening in the world. So thank you.
Another reason I'm really excited about this evening is that historically in politics it's been white male, right? And when we have seen politicians that have been women, there have been majority white females, right? And so to see, especially Miss Hernandez, who's only 32, I am a little intimidated. I'm like, okay, what have I done?
That's beautiful.
And so, but Dr. Cantu has a phenomenal story as well, and a lot of grassroots. And one of the things is, if you're not relatable, guess what? You're not going to really make change, right? And so what's so impactful is that these two women don't only relate to women of color, but those that have had to work in conditions that are, to many, unfeasible, that would never fathom doing that at a young age, or coming from an area that you're really not expected to progress other than either you're going to end up pregnant or And the pregnant.
And the pregnant.
And so, it's really important that we continue to support each other, especially when we're boots on the ground, making the changes. And one of the things that Sol wanted me to address is we were talking amongst ourselves is, when we're doing advocacy work or we're activists or we're in politics, the self-care, how do we manage that, right? How do we manage the mental health component? Because a lot of times you're giving a lot of yourself, right? So, Dr. Cantu or Ms. Hernandez, whoever wants to go first, let us know who you are, where you're from, and a little bit about your background, and what has motivated you to go into politics.
Well, first off, my name is Iracema Hernandez. You can call me Sima. It's just much easier to pronounce, being that it's a Latin indigenous name. I'm 32. I'm a mother of 4 boys. I've been married to my husband for about 15 years. And what motivated me to run was 32 years of terrible, terrible life experience, and me not wanting other people to suffer what I've suffered through, or much worse. So going into this arena of politics was very easy, considering who I was going up against, which was Ted Cruz. Yes, I know.
Let me put some.
Hold on.
That's in my mouth.
But when you start to realize the type of person that this is, it's not a genuine person. It's not someone who cares. It's not someone who can connect, who is completely disconnected with our daily struggle. Someone who does not represent the people. That's what got me motivated. The way that he was trying to take down our healthcare was something that was near and dear to me, because I worked in the healthcare field for over 6 years, from the ER all the way to the neuro ICU, and then going into nursing school. This man does not understand what we need as a human being. And to try to take the little bit of the healthcare we had, I had enough. I literally was doing laundry, and I threw the laundry basket on the floor, and I said, I'm done. I'm done. And I called people and said, I'm running. I am running. That was February 8th of 2017.
Awesome.
I decided to run. Of course, I later on told my husband, because I didn't ask for permission. I just ran.
As we shouldn't.
As we shouldn't. We just inform.
Right. And
by the way.
Of course, I did ask my children, how do you feel if I run for office? He was like, okay, cool. What are you going to do? I said, I'm going to beat Donald Trump with a stick or something. And they were like, yes, get him. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to hit him with a chancla. And
for those of you that don't know what a chancla is,
sandal.
It's a sandal. Yes.
It sounds even better in Spanish.
Huarache. There we go.
Or chancleta.
Chancleta. And what a lot of people don't understand is Texas is the battleground state for his agenda, for Trump's agenda. It's, yes, deeply red, but it's not really necessarily red. It's a non-voting state. And what we need to do to not just overthrow Cruz, but take back control as someone who needs representation, is talk about the issues every single time that affect us unilaterally. So we all need health care. We have to think about the basic necessities of life. Health care, a living wage, education, and, of course, stop the racial discrimination of criminalizing our Black and brown communities. And that's something, living in Pasadena, which is not that far from here. It's down the street. Something that we face is the oil refineries are put in areas of low income. And that affects us on all of those aspects. Healthcare, education, living wage, and, of course, the discrimination, because there isn't any money or funds going into those places. So I started coaching baseball a few years ago, starting with my oldest one, who's now 13. And then we coached our now 10-year-old, our 7-year-old, and our 5-year-old has yet to be coached in baseball. And what I realized is baseball brought people from all sides of the aisle together to watch a game, to watch kids play. And I started thinking, what can we do with baseball to build community, to build a coalition with different people based on the issues? And I started thinking, what if we have a nonprofit baseball organization that provides civic engagement and gets people informed in the community, where it's 70% Latino. Majority is low income. I live on the north side. We're low income. And that's when I started thinking and developing a nonprofit organization, which we have. Unfortunately, because of the discrimination that we face in Pasadena, or the mayor will not allow us to have those fields. There's things that have to change, and someone else is moving things around in the city. So when I appealed to the mayor doesn't want to listen. So then I started working on, of course, running this race and doing the nonprofit, being a mother to my children.
So, really quickly, what is the name of the nonprofit?
The nonprofit is Pasadena Baseball Organization, PBO.
PBO.
PBO. And we want to get the season started, but we can't get the season started without, one, a facility, two, fields. The kids want it. The parents want it. It would be 100% free. It would be after-school tutoring, education. It'd be a community center, literally a community center like the one downtown in 3rd Ward at Shape.
Okay. Okay.
If y'all are
That's been
familiar
around
with Shape,
for a while,
it's,
too.
yes.
Yeah.
What was it, 48 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. About 48 years.
Evidently, it works and it helps if it's been
Exactly.
around for so long.
Of course.
And I like what you said, building communities. And when you build communities, you build relationships, you bring health. Because again, when you're talking about society, whatever someone else does affects the other person. And it starts with institutes, all the way trickles down at home, or home, all the way into institutes.
It's
Everything
all
is
local.
integrated. Yes.
It is all local. And running in this race as a Latina, as someone who is low income, who doesn't have a lot of money, I ended up getting about 250,000 votes. I raised $10,000. Spent $5,000 just to get on the ballot. And then less than $4,000 to campaign across the state of Texas.
So that goes to show that we're very resourceful. And
Yeah.
let me tell you why. Because
Absolutely.
Dr. Gantu's here with her girls,
Yes.
and she's being mommy at the same time, and she's still here.
Multitasking.
Multitasking.
So that goes to show, like,
Yes.
how resourceful as women, Latina women, women of color, in our day-to-day lives that we are.
and also
We have to be.
yes, and also budgeting and using everything at your disposal very carefully, and having people placed in strategic places that will do that help, that will volunteer, motivating people to do that work,
Yeah.
and always talking about the issues, because at the end of the day, it's never about me as a candidate. I'm just one way to get there. It's about creating a movement to allow other people's voices to be heard on the issues, and continuing to spread that and empower people to go out there and vote, not just to go vote, but also go and run as well.
And Ms. Hernandez, do you know the impact that you're making? I was researching, because you guys are going to be teaching me today a little bit more about politics. I was researching to see how many women have been in the seat of the Senate. Okay, there are a few. But then from Texas, there's been, I think, one, and please correct me if I'm wrong. I think back in the day, I probably wrote it somewhere. But then a Latina, like that is impactful. You are really telling these little girls, hey, you can do it. And this is coming from a place that I live here. I work here. My children are here. I grew up here. So it's realistic. It's not something that's in a book that you're gonna read in the history. No, this is somebody that I can relate to. She looks like me. You know, she sounds like me. She has an accent,
But her
or
story.
you don't. But when you speak your Spanish, ya habla español. You're relatable, and that's what we need. We need real people out there representing us.
And it's everyday people, because I know the struggle. Just like everybody else, we may not live in the same neighborhoods, but the struggle is the same.
Exactly.
We all want a living wage, health insurance. We want education. We want our children to be better than us. We want the next generation to be better. So we have a lot of people that we find in common. Even Republicans went out and voted for me. They crossed party lines to go and vote for me, because they understood it wasn't about party. They understood that it was about the issues. And focusing on the issues is the most important thing that will connect people on the basic human level.
And that's the basic hierarchy of needs that I'm thinking about my background, and we learn those things that in order to, a lot of times when people are in crises, they're more focused on their basic needs, which is medical, right? Where am I going to sleep? My food, shelter. And
When
so
I
those-
get home, will
yeah,
my
those
light
are the
switch
most
turn on?
essential,
Yes,
right?
my water.
And so one of the things that I don't think people are truly getting the true feel of who you are is that you can truly relate to Sema, because not only is she has this great work ethic, but there's a reason why, right? She is a daughter of immigrant parents, and at a very young age worked in the field.
Tomato fields.
Yeah, I'm from South Texas, and that is we're known for citrus, right? But I had like I was telling you earlier, that my best friend, when she was younger, she she did the work as well with her parents, and she would travel all the way to Michigan. But for you, I think it's important for people to hear that about.
Yeah, seeing my grandmother climb on a ladder in long sleeves in hot Florida weather, picking oranges and getting scratched up, that was one of the hardest things for me to watch. My mother would, of course, take my brother and I with her, because there wouldn't be daycare. And that's hard to do. They would keep us in un baño, which is like this big cubeta, where you would put all the oranges in, and we would sit there safely, and then sometimes we would push each other out to go help my grandma pick oranges or my grandfather pick oranges. in carrying El Morral, which is a huge sack that you fill it up, and it's over 200 pounds from what I can remember, and then dumping it into this big canasta or baño, that was painful to watch. And then moving from Florida to Waimama, Florida for tomatoes, and then from there going to North and South Carolina for peaches, Michigan for apples. In, I believe it was North Carolina, I remember we stopped once for tobacco leaves. And that was a whole new experience. But watching them struggle, understanding the sacrifices they made have made me the person that I am. Because I don't want them to live that way. Just like I don't want anyone else to suffer those slave-like labor and slave wages that they were getting compensated. That's unfortunate. It still happens today. It's happening across this entire country, and it's not right. It's unjustified. It's illegal. It honestly should be legal if it's not already. But this happens every single day, and it's still happening where we live.
And so tell us about a little bit more, what was it like? You washing clothes. When I wash clothes, when I do, I am not thinking about politics, right? I'm like, oh man, I really got to do this now. And so it sounded like it was already brewing. Like,
oh, it was
this
brewing.
Here, I got to do something. And
Well-
all of a sudden, so what was it like really going through that process?
Well, it was more of a gradual process. Well, first I got ignited by the Bernie Sanders movement because he was the only candidate that I saw. He actually went to Immokalee, Florida, which was where my grandparents used to pick tomatoes and watermelons. Immokalee, Florida. We lived in LaBelle, Florida, which is like a 30-minute drive. And he went there to speak with the campesinos, the workers, the farm workers that were there, and did like a mini documentary there of what they were living, their living situation was like. And I'm like, that's where I went to. I used to grow up around that area. And I shared that video with my mother, and my mother started crying, and I started crying because I was emotional that somebody cared that much to go and see what my parents went through and what my grandparents went through. And that ignited the light, the flame to learn more, to know more what's going on in the process. It was like over a year and a half, 2 years. When Trump got elected, that was a catalyst, a literal catalyst that said, no, we cannot allow him to do or implement this agenda that he wants to do.
Exactly.
So then going into February, I was watching the debate between Sanders and Ted Cruz. And then that's when I was doing laundry already.
Oh, so you weren't just doing laundry, you were watching
I
it?
was watching it.
God,
Listening.
I was yelling at the TV.
Multitasking.
And as he was thinking, as Ted Cruz was saying, congratulations on your cancer, congratulations on your multiple sclerosis, I'm thinking, you sick man, you have no idea what it's like to pull the plug on somebody. You have no idea what it's like to administer pain medication in a different part of the body, and then your patient still dies, or having to hold someone's hand as they're taking their last breath and praying with this patient as they pass away.
Because that's the work you used to do.
Yes, I used
You
to
were
work.
a nurse.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and that was hard and to listen to. The easy part was deciding to run. Figuring out how to run, that was the difficult part because there were so many obstacles in my way. Nobody would give me a straight answer. They'd give me the runaround. And of course, when I finally got some momentum, Hurricane Harvey happened. And so my home flooded. I lost my car. My husband became unemployed afterwards. So that was another obstacle that I had to overcome. And documenting that, putting it on Crowdpack and giving them my story, sending pictures to people of what we were going through, inspired them even more. I'm like, she's not giving up. She's not quitting. We need to stay on top of this and help
I think that's naturally in our blood.
her. Yeah,
I think that's naturally in our blood.
not to give up. And then I had this great team who reached out to me and says, hey, we want to help volunteer. We'll volunteer to help you fundraise. And within 3 days, we got $5,000 to get on the ballot. And the rest was just documenting things and still getting that discrimination from the Texas Democratic Party. When I went in and I gave them my money, it was $5,000 in cash. They said, we've never seen this before.
So did they go through everyone and do the marker?
No, but
Oh, okay.
you know what they said jokingly? Is this drug money? And I'm like, no, it's not drug money. It's just I didn't have the time to go and get a cashier's check because I'm trying to drive from Houston to Austin to get there before 6 p.m. to get on the deadline. I got there at 5:45. 5:45.
I'm not going to say what I want to say. So
Well,
I'm just going to say
it's recorded. We were live. They don't know it, but it was streaming live. And people
Wow.
heard
excellent. That's good.
it. It was documented, and it's out there in the reports.
That's good.
and they have declined to comment on it.
Oh, of course.
But there's that, and of course the discrimination that I get from Democrats here in the Houston area by white Democrats that tell me, oh, that, you know, this other candidate's better than you. You don't have a chance in hell because you don't have enough money. You have to raise millions of dollars. Well, I got 250,000 votes on $4,000. What does that tell you? And they want to ask me how I did it. Like, I'm not going to give away my secrets.
I don't think they understand that you're not taking no. I don't think they get it.
They don't get it. And they
Yeah.
don't get that we're resilient and I could relate on just being, you know, the underdog. Like,
This is a great segue, Dr. Cantu.
you know,
Go ahead. Who are
like,
you?
you know,
Overcoming
like,
it.
you know,
Yeah, who are you? Tell us who you are.
so I'm Dr. Jennifer Cantu, you know, but a little of my history. I'm from Laredo, Texas, where I said I was a success story when I graduated from high school and I was not pregnant and did not have kids. I was considered a success story. But I knew I wanted more. And, you know, you could probably relate to me. A lot of people, you know, I was the youngest of 5. So as the youngest, you know, you're the one that takes care of your parents. You know, that's your role, that's your job. But I wanted to go to school. I wanted to do more. And I got the blessing from my parents, but that was it. You know, there was no prep, there was no preparation, you know. University life was different. I had never really studied, so I was having to start from the bottom and just got blessed to do so much more. I got to do research. But ever since I was a little kid, I knew I wanted to be a doctor. And everybody would laugh like, ay, mijita, you know, like, ay, pobrecita, you know, like,
You show them.
you know, but I had some amazing friends who are still my best friends to this day. Were like, just do it, you know, and they're like, you've always been stubborn. You've always, you know, you say you're going to do something and you do it. And I applied the first time. I didn't get in. I was like, I'm going to apply again, you know.
That's it.
And I interviewed and I got in and met the love of my life, you know, my husband. And now, you know, we have 2 amazing twin girls that are over there, which are trying to talk to me at the same time. But, you know, we came, you know, I'm an early childhood interventionist. And, you know, Sima, you probably know, like, our legislators started doing budget cuts, and they started affecting ECI like in 2011.
And for people that don't understand what ECI is, it's what early
Childhood intervention.
right?
So this is the age group of 0 to 3. So why it's so important? You know, the brain development by the time a child is 3 is 92%. So, and then by the time a child is 5, it's 96%. So if you're going to want to do any type of intervention, ideally, you want to do it while that brain development is growing. So you want to do it by the time they turn 3. Well, all of this balancing of the budget falls into our Texas education system. A lot of people don't realize that our Texas education system balances from 0 to 21. Everybody thinks, oh, Texas education is from kinder to high school. No, it's from 0 to 21. So when they balance it out at the expense of our infants and toddlers and our kids that maybe have a diagnosis like Down syndrome or cerebral palsy that still need services but can't get the adult services because they're not 21 yet. So they still fall. So they cut the budget, and how they compensated is that previously a child needed to have a delay of 2 months. Well, now a child needed to present a delay of 4 to 5 months.
So in layman's terms, what does that mean?
So now a kid needs to be worse in order to be eligible for services. But then this tunnel pipeline, imagine a child that doesn't get any services because of location. They can't access them. You know, we have a lot of ECI, like these programs. We used to have like 80 in the state of Texas. Now we're down to less than 40. And just like a month ago, another ECI office just closed. And guess what? In Corpus Christi, who's predominantly what? Latinos. In Nueces, predominantly Latinos. These families, what are they going to do? Just last year, our program, I had to give a pink slip to 150 families and tell them, I am sorry, I could no longer be your provider. And I knew there is nobody else. I knew it was going to be hard for these families out in Hempstead and Waller and El Campo. Those rural areas to get services. And I still kept on thinking, they're going to do better. Like, there's no way our legislators are going to allow this to happen. And then I saw Texas didn't expand Medicaid, and what happened? Wharton, their hospital closes down. Harvey hit, and we're so blessed that in Wharton, nobody needed a hospital.
So I have to pass Wharton when I go
Uh-huh.
to, like, the Valley, and you know.
Yes.
And so what's the closest hospital to them?
20 minutes away. But that's the difference between life and death. If you're having a stroke, if you're having a heart attack. And what's even worse is because these specialists are not there. Now you're a mom who's pregnant that has no transportation and prenatal care, which is essential, that are not seeing a specialist until the second trimester.
Wow.
What do we know about, we are nurse, medical care. We need to have, everybody talks about affordable health care, and I'm going to say affordable health care is useless if we don't have accessible health care. And I kept on and I was really looking for somebody to run for office for District 85.
Not you, but for someone else.
I was on the hunt. I mean, and I was running and I was calling people, and then.
Were you washing laundry too?
No. Actually,
Because I'm gonna start washing a whole bunch of laundry.
Harvey, we had set up. I'm a fellow of Organizing for Action, and I have my nonprofit, which is called For Ben for All. So after post Harvey, we're trying to really help these families that were predominantly Spanish speaking, that were afraid because of SB4 to go out and ask for help.
If people don't know what SB4 is.
Yes, this is a show me your papers bill, which they want to say it's for something else, but it's really just show me your papers bill. And we knew, and the Fort Bend lead for Organizing for Action in Fort Bend, Sarah DeMarchant, who's also running for office. We partnered, and she kept on telling me, you really need to run for office. And I was like, no, And then we went to the Johnson dinner in Austin, and Frederica Phillips, she's like, so you running for office? And I was like, no. And she's like, why not? I'm like, I'm not the typical candidate, I'm a married single mother because my husband, because of immigration, he's not able to be here in this country right now. So I was like, I'm a full-time mom. I have a nonprofit. And they're like, but you know what's going on. I was like, because I do know, you want to get home, turn on the light and let there be light. Open the refrigerator, there's food. I mean, people don't have time to be activists all the time. I'm blessed that I can, but not everybody can be an activist. And it doesn't mean that they don't care. So I get so frustrated when they say, like, your people do not want to be involved. They do not want to get involved. Because our people have other priorities. And when they've been continually pushed down and stepped down and say their vote doesn't matter, their voice doesn't matter, guess what? After a couple of generations, they start to believe that's the fact. And so I looked at Sarah and I was like, why not me? And that happened.
That is really profound right there. Why not me? So anyone that's listening, why not you?
Exactly.
Why not you to achieve that one thing that you wanted to do or desire
exactly.
to do? Or
it
wanna
was
fight
scary
for?
though. I will say, like Seema, as excited as people were, I still have those individuals that were like,
¿Tú quién eres?
¿Tú quién eres? ¿Por qué vas a correr tú? And I even had people like, you don't have the money.
You don't have political experience.
You don't have political experience. And I said, and we've repeated the same cycle and expected a different outcome is insanity. And we've been in insanity. So why not try something new?
Yes.
Why can't I? And for a while, I was just like, I did it how I wanted to do it. Because everybody's like, you need to get this and you need to do this. And you need, like, nobody wants to help, but everybody wants to implement ideas.
There you go.
Have an opinion.
Everybody has an opinion. And I was like, but that hasn't helped. That hasn't worked.
Yeah.
So, and, I decided to do me. I have my daughters. As you see, My daughters are right here. They're gonna come with me everywhere. When I block walk, I was like, I'm not gonna be picky where I'm going to knock. I'm gonna knock on everyone's door.
Yes.
The thing is that there's always somebody knocking on the door telling you something negative.
Exactly.
So if you're focusing on your goal, if you're focusing on where you're going, and focusing on people that love you, focusing on people that are giving you that support, you're gonna get there. Because there's always gonna be somebody telling you negative.
They're there. They're going to ask us. And I said, because everybody's like, well, how do you do it? I'm not gonna lie, it's not easy.
It's not easy at
It's
all.
not easy.
So
But when they ask us, what did you do when this was happening? Because my daughters will ask me. I want to be like, I ran. So as far as I'm concerned, Seema and I, we are winners.
We ran on the issues.
We did, instead of complaining, instead of saying we need change, we became the change. So in my eyes, we've already won. And we're forcing the establishment to do things they've never had to do. Actually work. Amazing.
I can tell you that excuse of, oh, you don't have political experience. Like, look at the political experience we have in office right now.
You know, I was thinking that.
Yeah.
Like, you can no longer use that, honestly.
No, it doesn't work.
If you're going to use that, then you're still very antiquated, right, in the process.
Patriarchy.
And so if you think about it, to reference that, to justify it, we have someone in office that doesn't look like what we've been taught or what we have references for. And so it's kind of like, you may want to try something else, right? I know, and you wanted to chime in on something with Dr. Cantu.
I wanted to, because you guys seem so strong and empowering. And I'm going to say, as a strong and empowering woman, I'm going to put myself there. You said, call it how it is. Sometimes confidence comes and sneaks us and snugs us and touches us on the side. How have you... how has this running this race, running this new adventure for you, has affected your confidence? And what do you do when that little confidence talks to you on the side?
Or when doubt comes in. Like,
you know, and this is gonna probably sound very snobbery of me, but I haven't had doubt.
Well, I'm sorry, you're Dr. Cantu, so...
No, you know, I will say there is negativity.
Okay.
You know, people will have negative comments, and individuals will try to say things, but I always say, you know, I speak from my heart. I am who I am. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to make up a story. Because people be like, well, what are you going to say? If you speak the truth and you speak from your heart, you don't have to plan for it.
Absolutely.
You don't have to pre-plan. Because everybody's always saying, like, aren't you going to write something down? I'm like, why?
Oh my God! Really?
That's
awesome. That's what I think I have in common with her as well. Is I don't go with a prepared speech or anything rehearsed.
No.
I go up there and I'm authentic, genuine in the feelings that I have, and I tell people what I have gone through, because allowing them to see me in my most vulnerable state allows them to
relate.
Say, okay, look, she's the real person. Someone said maybe you should bring your kids on the campaign and your family and have them all dressed up. I'm like, no, because that's not who we are every day. Jeans, t-shirt, you know, tennis shoes, sometimes a mustard stain on me. That is me. You're not going to catch me on a good day. You're never going to catch me on a bad day. You're going to catch me on a normal, regular day. And you want to see someone who
looks
is
like
relatable, knows what you go through, can see that you are working, and be your most authentic self and talk about real things, not tedious things or platitudes, but talk about real issues and offer solutions. And if that solution isn't good enough, then welcome them to the table, pull up a chair, and let's talk about it. Because they want to be heard. They want someone who's going to listen to them in a genuine way, not just for a photo op. And one thing that I never do is use anyone for a photo op. Never. Because that's not for me to expose. If they want to take a picture or have a video, go ahead. That's fine. But I'm not going to exploit that situation for whatever it is. Even during Harvey, I didn't exploit the situation with my neighbors down the street that I rescued. Nothing like that. That was something that happened.
You did out of you.
Yes, and that was just me doing what I do. But always being your genuine self. But sometimes because of those people that tell you those negative things, you wonder, how many other people think that way, and does it really matter? Because at the end of the day, it's not about you. It's not about me. Someone criticizing me because it's not about me. I'm talking to other people about situations that are bigger than me. And at the end of the day, it's like, I'm doing this for a better reason. And whether I win or lose, it doesn't matter as long as there was a change that happened.
But you've laid down that platform.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell,
the
just
expectation.
laying down that platform for people to realize we are here. It's not about what happens. Because people always tell me, like, what are you going to do when you win? I was like, my daughters are going to go with me because we're a package deal.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to have 2 little desks right there, like right next to me.
And
Like,
you carry a little constitution with them.
exactly,
As I'm listening to the both of you, Maya Angelou is coming to mind. Still I rise, right? Even in the midst of, still I rise. This is who I am, and this is who I'll continue to be, and that genuineness will be. It's more powerful, and it comes out
honest.
honest.
you.
But
True.
not only that, you said you had a quarter of what?
250,000
Votes, right?
votes.
This is a mom for coaching a baseball team and a nurse and a wife. I don't know if you have siblings, so you have all these
I do.
roles, right? And that's for another show.
Another story.
Siblings. I'm an only child. So, anyways, and so you don't have any experience. Imagine the damage that you're going to do in 2020.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so that's why I don't know if y'all noticed that we have candidate 2020, right?
Yes, for U.S. Senate.
Correct. And so it's just amazing to hear you ladies talk with such confidence. And now I'm thinking, should we even ask that of women? How do you stay confident? Because do we ever ask men that? Do you
No.
stay confident, right? Like, that's something that...
But I think it's been embedded.
Correct.
It's something that, it's not that you're being, you're downgrading. It's something that, because what do we think of women? We think emotion.
Self-esteem.
We think emotion. They think with their heart, like, and if we're having a bad day, I mean, you'll have people be like, did you not eat? Is it that time of the month?
Oh.
No, I'm a human.
Is that another show?
Is that
That's another show.
And I'm like, no, we're human beings. We're not always programmed to have a smile on our face or.
And it's not a bad thing that we feel like that. That just tells us, we're that's who we are, and that's what we go through.
But we do, we need to get individuals involved. And I will say, it's not about what party you're running. The engagement has to be full blown, because everybody's always telling me, like, what are you going to do to get Latinos to come out and vote? And I'm always asked, like, how are you going to get Latinos to vote? And I was like, well, it's not about getting them to vote. It's about having a conversation with them.
Inspiring them to
It's
vote.
about, because when I was doing one of my screenings for endorsement, they asked, well, what are you going to do? Because, your incumbent's done this and other candidates have done that. And I was like, and has it worked? Because I haven't seen it work.
There we go.
I go, they've never had a reason. I'm giving them the reason. And I'm not giving the reason by saying, hi, vote for me. I'm giving the reason because I'm knocking on the door and said, my name is Jennifer, and what can I do for you to get your vote? Because instead of telling me they should vote, I need to first just shut up and listen, because everybody's needs are different. And then with those needs, you could go represent.
So where do you purposely go to relate to everyone? What do you purposely do to have these genuine conversations and listen to the people that you want to be next to you as Latinos, as your community?
I personally go to places where no other candidate has gone before, which is the low-income black and brown communities. And we realize that all these establishment politicians, they always go where the money is.
Or
And
they go there at the very end.
Well,
If they go there.
sometimes.
If they go, if
Or
they
they
do,
send people.
they send people.
Or they appear once and then they keep going to where the money is. And that is the unfortunate part, because you need to go where the people are. Not where the money is, where the people are. And they're everywhere. But the ones that you need to give them a reason to vote and talk about the issues are the Black and brown communities that are affected in such a big negative way. We are affected the most.
Exactly.
Before the Anglo communities are affected.
See, I think people overlook that that's what Trump's campaign did. They went into the areas, or they sent people,
Exactly.
right?
I mean, they were smart.
And the ones that were feeling already overlooked, right?
They
And-
got that special attention, and that special attention got us in the situation we're in
where
right
it
now.
was underestimated that they would
Underestimated.
come out. And that's the thing. If we continue to underestimate our communities, our Black and brown communities, that they're not going to do it. The thing is,
Oh, we can't assume they're going to vote Democrat all the time.
correct.
Exactly. Don't take advantage of them.
Don't
just
take
because
advantage of them. You know, you
think that they're
can't
the only
assume.
ones.
You know, I've had people I knock on their doors and they come out and hug me and be like, no candidate has ever come to knock on my door. Like, you're the first one, you know. And I'll do what Sima says. I've gone to I go to the bingos, to the quinceañeras, to the barbecues, every outdoor event, and
Bautismo.
you
Yes.
name it. You know, it's about building relationships. And it can't be just build a relationship because I need your vote, but listen,
Trust.
and trust. You can't earn trust by saying hi. You have to build a conversation. And I think just starting the conversation and allowing individuals hearing their story and letting them hear your story, it's going to put two and two together. And you don't have to tell them what to do, because once you engage a person, you educate a person,
Yeah.
they're going to do what's right.
So how can our listeners and new people that may be watching, or maybe your followers or new followers, how can they see what you're doing next, like your IG, your Twitter, anything you want to put out there? Or we can also follow up and put it on Latinas Rising.
Sometimes I like to keep people guessing, because
Okay.
it wasn't until today that I put it out there that I'm running for 2020.
On Latinas Rising.
On Latinas Rising.
She did say it was
It's
first
huge.
time.
And always, continue the grassroots movement, because it happens from the bottom up, and continuing to motivate other people to run for office. That's what I want to do, also focusing on that until, I start campaigning for 2020, actively campaigning. I want to continue to build that movement and get people motivated to run, and get the right people that have the right intentions to run. And y'all can find me at Twitter at Sima Hernandez, or elect Sima for Texas.
Okay.
On Facebook, it might come down because of everything that's going on with Facebook. I might end up shutting down that page.
Yeah,
That's another-
I've been contemplating myself,
Yeah.
Especially. Well, that's another show.
That's another show.
And so, Dr. Cantu, how can?
Well, I am on Facebook and Twitter. You can follow me at Cantu for TX Texas 85. And, I wouldn't be a candidate if I wouldn't say, you know what, before we glow blue, we need green. I'm going to put it out there, And I keep on telling people, like, my motto is take the pledge of 5. Today, I want you to text 5 friends about us and Latinas Rising. 1. I want you to email 5 friends and talk about who we are. And I want you to take 5 minutes, log onto my page, J Cantu for Text 85, and it takes you 5 minutes to donate $5.
Ooh, I like that.
Because
I like
it is
her.
just $5.
That's quick.
That's a 2-piece at what is it? Popeyes.
Yes, that's what I said. You go buy,
That's-
$5 will help me get 1 sign. If 5 people give me $5, I could get 100 business cards. If I get 10 people to give me $5, I could get 75 push cards. And being a grassroots, because sometimes individuals will say, well, just ask your family and friends. But when people are living paycheck to paycheck, $20 is a bag of rice, a bag of beans, some chicken,
Yes.
some milk. And so
That's dinner.
No, that's dinner.
Yeah.
Or that's food for a week. So I say 5. Just give me 5.
Yeah, that's amazing. I also have a website, simafortexas.us, and that will continue to keep going until 2020, and well, even beyond that, because there's so many other things that we need to keep people informed of what's going on. And I haven't updated the website, but I'm going to tonight.
Awesome.
Awesome. And we were here to hear it.
Fantastic. One of the things, we're going to wrap up. I told you that an hour is
I
going to go
thought
by.
it was 30 minutes. I looked over and it's
It's
already
we got 4
time,
minutes left,
yes.
but one of the takeaways that I hope every person that is watching, listening, or has called in on, I'm going to shout out to my parents, they listen weekly, but that where there's community, there's change, right? And so we want to put the politics aside. We are looking to have a sense of community for change, right? And I hope that you truly, everyone that's listened in, has watched, that you enjoyed it. This was a best way to come back from our week. And it was a pleasure to have you, ladies.
Absolutely.
And
Thank you for inviting.
We want to continue to have you on the show and support you in any kind of way we can.
All the way through 2020.
Yeah, all the way to, and past that, right?
Yes.
And past that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because we need to get more, our people need to have a voice.
Of course.
And needs to start local. You guys also do local. You got your school boards, your city council, you know, your mayor, your treasurers, you know, your HUD.
Justice of the peace.
You know, JP, you know, start, if you don't know, be a voice there. And if you don't want to do it, be a voice for somebody, be a volunteer for somebody, because we always need volunteers.
It's about building relationships.
Interns, we love them.
Yeah. Edna, any last words?
No, I'm just super excited. Two things that you guys kept saying is building relationships and building community. And it starts here. It starts with just having a conversation. We say that this table, you bring your coffee, your tea, your water, because it's basically that. Uno coge unas cuantas mujeres, se sienta en la cocina, en una mesa, y ahí comienza la conversación. Es ahí que comienza el poder de la comunidad. So thank you so much for coming today.
Gracias a
And so
ustedes.
you too.
And just really quickly, who are you?
You don't have to tell us the background, but I really feel like he's a
Bodyguard? Like, is he your PR? Because so we need PRs. Everywhere we go, I feel like we need a PR person.
Yeah.
Entourage.
Yeah. I'll just say this. Yeah, can I scoot with you?
Oh,
yeah, either way, either side. Put your words. No. Sit with me. No. My name's Jonathan, and I'm friends with Seema, and I just want to say this has been an entirely inspiring evening. And so thank you all so much. You know, I grew up with a single mom, and she worked really hard. She threw newspapers, but she couldn't, couldn't do and couldn't provide the way she wanted to for my brother and I. So she went to air conditioning school. She learned how to be an air conditioning repair person. One of the only women in Texas that literally climbs in 140-degree attics, to fix air conditioners. But that was the skill she learned so that she could, take care of my brother and I. And so being around strong women who really are leaders in the community and want to build community is very inspiring. So thank you all for having me tonight.
Absolutely. Again, it's an honor having you here.
resourceful.
Your mom also coached baseball.
That's right. She's a baseball coach.
Your mom too?
She did, yeah.
Oh my God.
And she won the championship.
There you go.
Oh, let's put that out.
Big ups for Mama.
Yeah. So thank you again. We'll see everyone next week. Follow us on Facebook, and you'll see what our next topic is. This has been very inspirational and extraordinary, and thank you for coming and spending the evening with us.
Thank you for
Thank
inviting
you
me.
for
Adios, buenas noches,
And your
posada.
guys
Adios,
are so
gracias.
good and
And my
patient.
girls that were so good,
Yes.
you guys. Y'all don't realize
Yes.
they're right there. Ladies, say hi.
They're very sweet. Very sweet.
Thank
I don't
you.
have any girls. I wouldn't know. All of mine are boys, but I would think that having a girl would be so awesome, beautiful. I could pass on some of that knowledge
They're, you know
to
what?
a mini
They're,
me. You know?
they're great. They're great leaders. And, I always tell them, because I'll be like, so what are you supposed to say? They're like, Mom, State Representative, 85.
That's awesome.
Because, who's
They got it down. I kept asking. And what again? They got it down.
They had it down. State Representative, 85.
Twins?
And they're twins, yes.
Yeah.
Gisela Natalia, they loves them,
Oh, yeah.
Mini me's.
My wife's a twin. She was the purple twin. Her sister was the pink twin. So their mom always dressed them in purple and pink so they could tell the difference.
Wow.
But
Nice.
yeah.
Well, I have boy twins, and I used to do red and blue.
Red and blue. Ah.
Yes, yes.
I'm just learning that about you.
Yeah. You didn't know I have twins?
So,
No, they're 19.
when
And
I'm
let me
married-
tell you, those kids, and his kids are gorgeous.
I have 2 and 2.
Two.
So I could relate with both of
Both.
y'all.
Yeah.
Yes. Beautiful in both sides. Yes.
Yes. So when they when we were gonna try, they said, "Oh, you'd have twins again." Me and my husband were like, "No, that's all right."
When someone says, no hay quinto malo, I'm like, who are you talking to?
¿Qué es eso, quinto malo?
There's, in other words, try again for a girl. I'm like, no, I have 4 boys. I'm good.
Good.
I am good.
They
Perfect.
keep me going.
I am the queen of my house.
There it is.
I'm
And
okay
truly,
with
like,
that.
then it gets so better once it start getting
I'm also
old.
the
Oh,
dishwasher.
beautiful.
The
And the garbage.
And the
Yes, don't
garbage
forget the
pick.
garbage. I don't do garbage. I haven't
I
done
get to
garbage
eat
in
warm food
how
now.
long?
Oh, nice.
I get to eat warm food
Mine's
now.
always cold by the time I'm done. Cocinando, limpiando, and then I finally sit down like, yes, let me chill.
So, are we still on air?
I don't know, but that
Oh,
was...
okay.
Oh, sorry.
While I'm eating lima limon.
That was us being real.
All right, good night for real. Bye, everybody.
Hey, bartender, we need a round of shots.
Do you want what everybody else is having, or do you want the best of the best?
Of course, we want the best of the best.
Well, then, Tequila Cazadores is the one for you.
For those special moments in your life, whether it's a special occasion or just a day relaxing with your friends, drink the best of the best, Tequila Cazadores.
The next time you or someone you know get into trouble, don't call your parents or best friend. Call 713-BEST-BET. That's 713-BEST-BET for Alberta's Best Bet Bail Bonds. Don't gamble with your freedom. They will take charge of the situation and get you out of jail quick. Give them a call, 713-237-8238. That's 713-237-8238. And be sure to let them know that SCP Radio sent you.
Hey Michelle, my birthday's around the corner. I want to throw a big party and wow my guests, but I don't know what to do.
All you have to do is call SCP for your DJ needs and Parties for You for your margarita rentals. They have the best margarita mixes in town. With these two companies, you will wow your guests. They will talk about your party for years to come. For your margarita rentals, look us up on Facebook, Parties for You.
Or call 281-748-0057.
And don't forget to mention SCP sent you.
Together, we are the future of entertainment.
You're watching SCP TV. This is your boy, Light Jockey Mike, and I just wanted to thank you for supporting SCP Radio. That's the end of our show, but please be sure to check us out on SpaceCadetPro.com, where you will be able to watch our videos, find and like all of our social media accounts, and chat with us. While you are there, click on the radio tab, where you will be able to see the show schedule and all of the different ways to reach us. You can also listen to us from there if you are on a PC or laptop. Thanks again, and remember, we are the future in entertainment.